We cut a truck in half. Taped 20 years ago on VHS. Bad lighting, be kind.
Well, let thank Inland Denver, EMW, Montgomery, Thailand, Sears, Billy Barker Casino, Wilson, the Mother and Julie Taylor. We'll be standing in the center going up. In front of me here, you see the CMIB classic car raffle up to the raffle next weekend on the first floor, Sunshine. The tickets are one for $5 and three for 10. That's it for now. We're going to go back to some more music.
This was done at a car show in Quesnel. We had to get rid of all the volume because, of course, they were playing tunes in the background and they're copyrighted. So what this was a 1953 GMC a client brought to us, and it was fully restored, beautiful truck, and he wanted to extend it 22 inches and put in a back seat to carry the grandchildren around. So thought this would be a pretty interesting project to do, especially in public. So we pre-made a bunch of panels, got my friends together. We'd worked on a few builds. John Higgins, Midnight Paint and Body, his YouTube channel, check it out. Dennis Toombs, Big Dave in the striped coveralls, and there's even some Jim Schmunk in there. We took a car trailer full of tools from my shop downtown Quesnel, put up a tent because it looked like rain, and we plugged into an abandoned gas station and we cut a truck in half. So we had pre-made a door, maybe a bit of the floor pan. We did a wiring section, had a drive shaft ready. We had readied a couple of frame sections that Dennis cut out and prepped for us. So the idea is throughout the day, we would cut it, extend it, weld it back together, have working brake lights, working brakes, all the wiring, drive shaft, and drive it. And we had about, I think, 5.5 hours during the show. So we drove it to the dance the night before. And then the next morning, you can see Ian on one side, me on the other, cut a long dotted line. And we started cutting the truck in half. I forget to mention Ian Coombs, another strong member of the crew. I mentioned before Ian Coombs and I started cutting in half. The first thing we did is we X-braced the back part of the cab and the front side of the cut so that when we cut and separated the truck, everything was still lined up where it was to make it far easier to reassemble without spending hours trying to get things back where they belong. So we took out the headliners, the seats, we left them in there so I could drive it down. We drove this down. On the way home, I had to get a tow truck just because I didn't have the roof finished, and it was hadn't completed the welding. Figured it was a smart thing to do. So I would like to do this again. This was a 6-cylinder. Ended up with an Offenhauser intake on it, I believe. Ed does show up in the video at one point. He didn't look especially thrilled at that point. He has quite a collection of really nice vehicles. So, and this truck now lives not that far from Rust Bros, actually, down in that part of the country. So this is back when I had hair, you might also notice. So we were using Sawzalls to do the initial cut, a bunch of zip cutting. I don't think we used any torches on this.
Here's the Atlas. I wonder if he's changed his mind.
I have to confess, about the time we had it cut through, you start looking at it going, a little bit of pressure to get it back together. And I guess you can see the timestamp on here. It's almost 1 o'clock and we haven't separated it completely yet. So this was a lot of fun. And like I say, I'd like to do it again. We had the floor pan mostly made up, and you can see later in the video where I had some pipes that I used for putting bends, curves. So I tried to curve the roof on site. I didn't quite get that finished, but the door that opens reverse, I had built up at home, and the frame sections were trimmed and readied also.
There's also another raffle idea, CNID, the raffle on 2 cars, which is raffle next week, the picture is really fun, and driving the whole night. We have a serial sound off, followed by Bears Communication, that's going on, and pretty soon, I believe. I'm gonna try on one at a time, until maybe get more done.
As simple as the idea is, trying to get a truck back together or a car, the difficult part is the gaps, of course. As always, it's always about the gaps. You can see here, there's the car trailer. We brought the tools down. It was looking like rain, covered it up a little bit. I think we get to see Bailey in here too, way back when she was about 6. So anyhow, it took a lot of people. There were a lot of things going on, and everyone had to work together, and it went really well. Cutting the frame, trying to line up the new pieces. Dennis had done his work not pre-fitting, I guess, making the parts, coming up with a plan. So when we extended the frame and welded it back together, it was good. Extending the running board was one of the more difficult things, very time consuming with all the ribs and trying to make it flawless once it's in paint. To do this was a day, but to finish the vehicle was months, because you take it back, finish your metal work. Now you want to body work it, prime it, lock it. In 20 years, the technology has improved so much for polyester primers. Everything is just a little bit simpler. Expensive, but simpler to work with. Anyhow, trying to get the gaps just right. We had to lift the vehicle apart. You're trying not to move things too much. Again, the truck is sitting on jack stands. So the whole front end's got the motor, the transmission, everything, and we're moving the back half back. And you always find something that you forgot. So as we put it back together, it can't be close. It has to be bang on to make these gaps work, especially with all the time building third door. The third door I suggested so it'd be easier to access the back when you're putting grandkids in. That took a lot of extra time. I don't always recommend it. I know in Rachel's truck we cut it in half. Because of time constraints, we didn't put any doors on the back half of it. But it's not critical if it's just a work truck and you're using the back half of your truck basically as an office. So anyhow, you can see this is a shiny vehicle. It was beautifully done when it showed up to us. So you're trying to cut, grind, and weld without damaging the rest of the vehicle and making new moldings to get chrome. You can see the front doors have a chrome molding around them. Well, we made the back door, so we had to take some pieces of front door chrome and weld them all together, clean them up, and send them off to be chromed. There's so many things to think about. Seat belts, a rear seat, which I think we ended up using a seat out of the back of some type of a pickup truck that's already extended cab, shortened it, had it upholstered. The front ended up being out of a K car, and the 6-way powered seats. Again, this was in about 2004, so We found some nice K car seats and had them upholstered. I did a bunch of work on the dash, all the wiring. This was seriously involved. A lot of fun. You can see, look at the paint, beautiful, shiny. So we had people around. You got to be very careful. You don't want to hit anyone with sparks. Oh, and me with hair. Far out. Gray though. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay, so it's sitting all apart. We're trying to get the frame rails lined up. Simple way is you clamp angle iron underneath the front half of the frame, which you're not moving. And then you pick up the back half and slide it onto the angle iron so they line up, and then you have the right height. Now, when you're doing limousines, you'll notice they tip up the back half just a little extra in the front. And when they stretch limos, sometimes they go too far, and you can actually look at the side of a limo and see it crowned upward. This is a very short addition that we put in, so I didn't want to do that. We kept it pretty straight. You also have to taper the floor because the cab gets wider towards the back. So in the 22 inches that we extended, it can't suddenly be straight. So you have to cut the floor all the way up to the front of the front doors and open it up and taper it all the way back. So there's a lot. It's not just add. You want it to flow together. You want to make it look like it came that way from the factory. So again, we had many weeks of prep. So we knew what we were in for, and we pretty much thought of everything. That's a great thing about having a crew like this. Someone's going to have a plan into a problem, right? So it was a great crew. Be fun to do another one. So anyone with the restored vehicle that wants it a little bit longer, or maybe made into a convertible or something in a day, give me a call. There's Jim Schmunk in the background, getting rid of the paint so we can weld. Yeah, oh yeah, cool stuff. At this point, it's already 10 to 4. John's just used the Makita nibbler, which again, I've had for years and years and years. Now it's tacked back together. It's more what I call a fill in the blank stage. All right, we were down to where we only had about an hour and a half left, getting pretty frantic, running around with the tape measure. It was a bit of a rush, but it was a very good time. Now look at that, just a givener. So thanks to highly skilled crew, it went pretty darn good, and I would like to do it again. Thanks to all the guys again. What a riot. Look at the gap. Hey, that's what it's all about, making a good gap on the doors. And it worked out pretty good, and the truck's still driving around 20 years later. So the year after this, I wanted to make a Corvette into a pickup truck, actually. And I'm still wouldn't mind doing that. I figure it's a one-day job again with the right crew. So yeah, you can see the driver's side didn't open. I made the opening door on the passenger side, curb side. So it was a pretty cool looking truck. It still is. And I especially thought it was cool having the 6-cylinder in it. And yeah, cheers.
Okay, well, you know how to find it. There you go.